What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Crypto and Coffee. My name is Scott Mandel. It is Friday, March 2nd, I believe, and we got a lot to talk about today. So, as always, I'm going to set some expectations of what we're going to talk about in this video. So, if it doesn't apply to you, then just feel free to skip it. But I think this is an important one because I think this covers probably the most common mistake in crypto. So if this is you, listen up. We are going to talk about the correlation between Bitcoin's price and the price of your altcoin. I think a lot of people don't understand this correctly. And let me tell you what I mean. When Bitcoin is moving up, your altcoin is priced in terms of Bitcoin. So if that price is moving down, it's very important that you understand the ratios that are involved and what that means for your underlying US dollar amount or value of the coin. A lot of people will look at, say, whatever altcoin they're holding and just simply look at the value in terms of US dollars. That is a mistake because if Bitcoin is on a bull rally, your value, the value of your altcoin is going up because of Bitcoin, not because your coin is worth much or appreciating in value. So I have a couple examples. These are examples over the last month. We're about a month off of Bitcoin's lows, which were February 6th, 2018, and we're in March 2nd right now, so about a month. And we're going to talk about the correlation between Bitcoin's price movement and the price movement of altcoins. All right? So, without further ado, let's jump in. All right, so we're going to start by taking a look at coinmarketcap.com or CMC. If you haven't heard of CoinMarketCap, it's basically a leaderboard of sorts that displays in a pretty easy and approachable manner, price, market cap, volume, supply of coins from around the world. It aggregates the price of multiple exchanges globally and spits out kind of an average price of each coin. It's pretty helpful just kind of to keep an eye on, underlying trends, what coins are up and coming. It also gives you, at the very top here, you'll see the market cap of Bitcoin. You'll see the 24-hour volume of all crypto traded. And then something that people read into maybe a little too much is the BTC dominance. The BTC dominance is basically, it's the market cap of Bitcoin divided by the market cap of crypto. That seems to be what people rely on to kind of understand kind of market movements, but I think maybe people read a little bit too much into it. But anyway, it's on there. A lot of good information. And the reason I'm bringing this up is we're going to talk about the pricing of altcoins in both Bitcoin and US dollars today. Most people that get involved with crypto for the first time like to think in terms of US dollars. Why not? You've been doing it your entire life. It's easy. It's kind of the norm. The further you get along in your crypto education, the more important I think it is that you think of in terms of Bitcoin, the underlying price of your coin in Bitcoin. And the reason that I think that's important is because Bitcoin is essentially the base currency of crypto, right? It's much easier to think in terms of Bitcoin than have to do a say Ripple to Bitcoin to US dollar conversion. Now, Ripple is one of those ones that actually has US dollar markets, but many other altcoins don't. So you have to make multiple conversions. Not only that, I think Bitcoin, ultimately being the US dollar or base currency of crypto, is a better way just to think about your involvement in the crypto space. So here we are. We're taking a look at, we're going to look at the top 10, 15 coins here. And what I want to do is jump in and take a look at the last month. The last month is, we'll cover the bottom of Bitcoin, which is about 5,900 and change. up until where we are now, which is just below 11,000. And what we're going to do is we're going to compare that little snapshot of Bitcoin versus various altcoins. And then we're going to look at what would happen if you had $100 invested in that altcoin over that period of a month. How much would you actually have? Because I think a lot of people make mistakes on this. All right? So we're going to jump in with one of my favorites and one of the ones that's done pretty well over the last month, and that's Monero. Now, what I've done here is I've set the chart up to have the kind of the green and red looking line will be the coin, the altcoin that we're discussing. The red line will always be Bitcoin, okay? So I want to take some time now to explain this a little bit further. The red line is Bitcoin US dollars, okay? So since 1 month ago here, which would be February 2nd, Bitcoin is up 24%, okay? On the other hand, 1 month ago until now, Monero is up 12.67% versus Bitcoin, all right? So it is collectively, Monero is up 12.67% versus Bitcoin, and Bitcoin itself is up 24%, all right? So this is where I think people make mistakes. They don't understand that there's two currencies interacting here, all right? So how do you actually figure out the underlying price of Monero if you had invested $100 a month ago? All right, so what I want to do now is I pulled up the calculator here and I want to show you what a $100 investment in Monero 1 month ago would be worth now, okay? Now, most people and most coins are traded in terms of Bitcoin, all right? We're not going to talk about US dollar markets here because that's too easy. If your coin is traded in US dollars, it's very clear what its value is in US dollars, but most aren't. So if we had $100 invested in Monero, we have to make two calculations. First, we want to know how much did Bitcoin appreciate over the course of that month? Well, looks like Bitcoin went up 27.5%. So we're going to do times 1.275. So had you invested $100 in Bitcoin, you would have $127.50. But you invested in Monero. Well, how did Monero perform versus Bitcoin? Well, it looks like Monero went up 10.2% versus Bitcoin. So you had that 27.5% return with Bitcoin. Now you have an additional we're going to round up to 10.7. So times 1.107. All right, so that $100 that you invested in Monero a month ago is actually worth $141.14 right now. So your return is actually 41%. All right? So when Bitcoin is rallying, and we're going to see it pretty soon, in my opinion, if you are invested in a coin that's outperforming Bitcoin, not only are you getting the appreciation of Bitcoin, but you're getting the multiple that your coin is outperforming Bitcoin, which is incredibly important, and these returns can get exponentially bigger, all right? So one thing that you have to realize is when you see a coin that's outperforming Bitcoin during a big rally, that is such a bullish indicator for that coin. It means that coin has legitimate real value. And I know it's hard to understand what I mean by that, but a lot of these coins, they're vaporware. You know, they don't have any long-term value. And we're going to start to see this over the next months, years. We're going to start seeing coins just disappear. Now, the coins that are able to maintain their value versus Bitcoin or outperform over a period of time, those are the ones you want to keep your eye on. Those are the long-term winners in this space. Monero, I definitely think, is one of those. All right? So let's not get hung up on Monero. Let's take a look at another one here. LITECOIN. So LITECOIN has been around for a while, and it has also done pretty well here. So again, we're looking at a 1 month snapshot here, and the top line here is LITECOIN versus Bitcoin. It has gone up 27.61%. Again, this number, this red line, is going to stay consistent across every coin that we look at. It may fluctuate a little bit because Bitcoin is moving right now, but it's going to be around 24, 25%. All right, so let's go back here. A $100 investment in Litecoin 1 month ago. So first, let's take a look at the Bitcoin appreciation. So 124. Okay, so we went up 24% with Bitcoin. And then look at this. Litecoin has outperformed that 24% increase in Bitcoin by 27.77%. So times 1.277. Wow. So a $100 investment in Litecoin a month ago is actually worth $158.60 right now. So you appreciated 58% in a month. Now, people don't get this, and I see people making this mistake all the time. Like, they're looking in terms of US dollars. Your coin, a lot of times, and we're going to get to some examples in a second here, your coin's value doesn't necessarily come 100% from the coin itself. It comes from the whole ecosystem, and the ecosystem is still based around Bitcoin, okay? Get that through your head. All right, so let's look at some losers in the space. Ethereum here. All right, so let's make sure we're on a month here. All right, 1 month. All right, so look at this. Again, Bitcoin, pretty consistent. So it's always going to be around here, right? So 24.24. But look at this. Ethereum has lost 24.5% of its value versus Bitcoin over the month. So $100 investment in Bitcoin times 1.242, and we lost 24 points. We'll just do 25. That's easier. So we're going to do times 0.75, and what that is it's 100% minus the value it's lost. So we're just going to round. We're making this simple on me because I don't want to do math in my head right now. So 0.75. So it lost 25% of its value, and lo and behold, $100 investment in Ether over the course of a month is now worth $93.15. So you actually have gone down in value by about 7%. All right? So this is important, and people don't fully grasp this. Like, if you held Ethereum and you saw that its value went down a few dollars over the course of the month, you wouldn't be too worried. But if you look at this chart and you say, oh my God, the only reason the value hasn't gone down more is because Bitcoin is appreciating. Well, now you get a better understanding of how Ethereum is performing in the market right now. And right now it's not performing very well. All right, let's jump into what people like to call Chinese Ethereum, which is NEO. All right, so let's make sure we got the right chart here. All right, so again, this line will always be consistent, 24.24. So we got $100 times 1.242, and then it looks like it's down 16%, so times 0.84. Again, that is 100 minus 16, or 84%, and you got a value of $104.32. So you have increased in value by 4%, but it had nothing to do with the way NEO is performing versus Bitcoin, and only to do with how Bitcoin is performing. All right? You need to understand that. What this means is you would have just better and better off putting your money in Bitcoin, which is a lot of times the best place to park your money. All right? So let's continue, and we're going to get to some of the more controversial currencies here. So we are going to jump into Ripple. All right. Again, same thing. 100 times 1.242. And now we have, looks like an 18% loss. So times 0.82. That's 100 minus 18, which is 82% of its underlying value. So it looks like Ripple is up about 1.8% over the last month. Again, if you look at this chart, it tells a totally different story. You see Bitcoin is appreciating, and Ripple is losing a lot of value versus Bitcoin. All right. Now let's jump into even more controversial coins here. We have Icon. Now this one is a good representation of something that maybe doesn't have quite the value that you think it does. When Bitcoin rallies, you will see the true winners separate from the rest of the crowd, and you will see the currencies that are maybe, full of smoke, full of steam. You'll see them start to really tank. All right. Now, Icon here, $100 times 1.24, and it looks like we lost 43% versus Bitcoin. So times 0.57, you would have lost about 30% of your capital over the course of a month. And you would have lost a lot more had Bitcoin not been appreciating. All right? So this is important to realize, because if and when we see a true Bitcoin rally and when Bitcoin breaks out, you're going to see these numbers, you're going to see alts really bleed. And you may look at your altcoin and it may hold a decent chunk of its value. But why would you want to be in a situation where you're, holding your value, or maybe a small loser, a small winner, when on the other side, you're making 24% or higher a month? It's very important to keep an eye on this. All right. And the last one that kind of surprised me is TRON. I'm not going to say that I follow TRON that often, but it just popped up in the top 20 kind of ranking for CMC, and I figured I'd include it in here. And surprisingly, it's held its own versus Bitcoin. It looks like a lot of that was over the course of the last week here, but without even doing the math here, you can see that it's basically on par with Bitcoin over the last month. So if you take into account Bitcoin's appreciation of 24%, it's up about 24% over the course of this month, having nothing to do with TRON appreciate versus Bitcoin, but solely based on Bitcoin's appreciation. So the reason I want to bring this up is because so many times people will just buy an altcoin and hold it. And their thinking is, in terms of US dollars, I'm doing okay. But there's an opportunity cost to holding that altcoin. And what ends up happening is, let's say you invest, one Bitcoin into, say, Icon. Icon's a really poor performer over the last month. So if you were to invest, one Bitcoin into Icon last month, let's say you wanted to move that back into back into Bitcoin this month. Well, you would be getting less than 0.6 Bitcoin back right now. You'd be getting about 0.58 Bitcoins. So it has the same monetary value that you invested, but you have roughly just over half of what you actually invested in Bitcoin. And that's important. That's why I want to really drill this in. It's really important to think in terms of Bitcoin. If you invest one Bitcoin, you want to get more than one Bitcoin back. That's how you're going to win this game long term. If you're investing in Bitcoin and you're getting less back in Bitcoin, but you're appreciating in US dollars, that's a sign that you're trading incorrectly and you're actually just capitalizing on Bitcoin's appreciation, not the appreciation of your coin, your altcoin. So I hope this was helpful and really kind of opened your mind and kind of was maybe an aha moment. You know those aha moments where all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I get it. I finally understand. This is going to be critical over the next few months, especially if Bitcoin starts going up. You want to find those coins that are appreciating versus Bitcoins and avoid the ones that are depreciating, like Icon here, at a really tremendous rate, because in the end, That's how you lose Bitcoin long term, and that's how you lose money long term. Okay? I hope this was helpful, guys. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comments section, and I'll talk to you soon.